Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is my first instructional video, so you're going to have to be patient with me. I want to talk to you this morning about note-taking for doing research. Mrs. Shamati came in and she talked to us about different sources to do our research. As we find those sources and we decide on the articles that we want to use, we need to know how to take notes on those. So before you even begin your research, you need to take a look at the questions that were given to you and your group members on Friday in reading class. There were 4 driving questions. You're going to have to take a look at those, and you're going to be working on one question at a time. You research it fully before you move on to the next question. Now the first question deals with, what it means to go green and why would we want our school to become greener. Now that's a logical place to start, but as I started to do some research, I kind of discovered that we might need to add some additional sources for that. So I'm thinking that for today, it might be more beneficial for you and your group members to start with the research on your particular issue. The problem that you're going to be working on solving in our school. But regardless, we can talk more about that as you're working in groups and we can help direct you. I want to focus on the note-taking part right now. Mrs. Shamati showed us that we're going to go to West Jenny Middle's webpage, and from there we go to the library and then to the Live Binder. You're going to find blue and gold make green, and there you go. Once you're here, you have 2 choices. You're going to either start by searching databases or you're going to search websites. You might want to explore both and see what's there to get your ideas going. But once you find an article that you want to use, there's a certain procedure I want you to follow. For example purposes, I'm going to use Today's Science on File. This is one of the ones that you actually have to type in the login and password. I've already done that earlier, so I don't need to do it again. You'll have to do that, but most of the databases won't require that in school. For example purposes, I'm just going to type in alternative energy. And when I do that, a variety of topics come up. And I see solar energy. So let's click on solar energy. And it takes us to an article about solar energy with several subtopics. If I look through this article and it's something that I feel will be beneficial in our research, and I want to go ahead and use it, the first thing I want to do is to write down the citation information. And that's critically important because, if you're doing research and for some reason you're interrupted, class ends, or the computer dies, or whatever it might be, and you don't have the citation information written down, sometimes it's awfully difficult to retrace your steps and go back and find the source you were working with. So before you write any notes down, you need to write the citation information. Now, of course, you want to make sure the article will in fact work for you, that it's going to serve your purposes. But once you've made that decision, you're going to work with the citation. Databases are much easier to cite than websites because the citation information is given to you. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can see I've done that, and it says citation information. On the note-taking sheet that's going to be provided for you, there's a spot for you to write all of that information down. But it's essentially done right there for you. Okay? So it's there, and you're good to go with that. Going back to the Live Binder to websites, it's a little bit different. Suppose I go to, Wegmans, plastic bag recycling. So we have this Wegmans website as an example. And when you're citing a website, the process is a little bit different because you have to find the information. It's not in one location for you. So when you are citing for a website, it asks for the author's last name, the author's first name, the title of the website article, the name of the website, the last time it was updated, the sponsor of the site, and the date that you accessed it. On websites, sometimes you're able to find the author, sometimes it's more challenging to do that. Sometimes the author isn't listed. So essentially what you're doing is you're writing down as much information as that you can find. And that's essentially what you can do, because you won't always be able to find every piece that's being asked for. So whether you're working on from a database or for a website, and you've written down your citation information and you want to start taking notes, we have this note-taking sheet here. There's 2 columns. The first column says notes/direct quotes, and the other column says comments/observations. You are going to be taking notes in the left-hand side, that first column. When you're reading and you come across information that you think is important that you could use, write it down, word for word. We'll worry about putting it into your own words, paraphrasing it later, but get the information down. You obviously have to limit what you write, because for each question you're writing a paragraph, so you have to look for the most important information that's going to prove the point that you're trying to make. Once you have written down everything for that one particular site, then you can move on to a new site. As far as the comments and observations go in the right-hand side, if there's something that comes to your mind immediately, go ahead and write that down. It's kind of like tracking what we do in reading class while we're reading. If we have other thoughts that are going on, that's a good place for us to put that down. But we can also use that column a little bit later on when we start to do our analysis of the research and we start to show our understanding of what it is that we've researched. But at this point, the most important thing is getting the citation information down, knowing where we got the information, and then writing those facts, those statistics, those critical pieces of information that are going to help us prove the points that we're trying to make. For each question, each of the 4 driving questions that you've been asked, you minimally have to have one source. And if you were to have 2 or even 3, it's going to make your paragraph that much stronger, the point that you're trying to make. So once you've exhausted one source, it would be beneficial to see what else that you could find. And of course, some sources are better than others. You might come across one source and it gives you more than enough information. And then other sources, it gives you some good information, but you feel as though there's more to be found. So you continue to look at, you can use what's there, but you can continue to look to find other information. Alrighty, so good luck. Happy researching. We're here if you have questions. Obviously, the databases and the websites that Mrs. Shamati collected for you are a fantastic place to start. But if you're having a hard time finding the information that you're looking for, then we can certainly go onto the web and find other sources. We just need to make sure those other sources that we're finding are from credible websites, that we can figure out who the authors are and we can figure out who created the website. So we're gonna start with what Mrs. Shamati gave us, and then if we have to go elsewhere, then we'll go elsewhere, but we need to do that very carefully. Alrighty, it's time to research.